cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and you are watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Monday, October the 23rd, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7. It was a 7 for me. You guys tell me what you think. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And let's go ahead and get into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Alrighty, guys. So we see EJ and Nicole. Um, he has a meeting and everything, and he's trying to, how sometimes someone says something to you and you just want to write it down really quick, and you just grab an envelope or and you're just about to write on it, and Nicole comes in and she says, no, no, no. So EJ gets off the phone and he was like, what's up? And she said, oh, that's the document, um, telling us about the genetics of our child. And he said, oh, he didn't know that's what that was, but he said, yeah, this is a really important document. And it just lets them know that he is the father. And they don't, so Nicole hasn't even opened it yet. She has not opened the document yet or anything. So all they know is that it's showing that he is still the father of the child. And he was like, yeah, it definitely don't want to ruin this, because she was like, yes, it's not scrap paper. And so then she ends up having to go somewhere, and he's trying to get ready for his meeting, right? So then we go over and we see Sloan and Eric. Now she's talking to him, and she's still telling him, Melinda says everything is working out for us, lying to him because Melinda did not say that. And so he's all excited about, the possibility of them adopting a child and everything. And so then they start talking, and he tells her about visiting the patient at the hospital. And then he said he had to step out because the patient had to have a procedure done. And she said, oh, you were sitting there waiting by yourself? And he said, no, Nicole was actually there. And she was like, Nicole always has a way of just being there. And he said, no, she was actually there to pick up her prescriptions, and to get her DNA genetic testing again, because she had misplaced it. And so Sloan hears this, and she's like, now say what now? And he was like, yeah, she misplaced it, so she was there to get that again. Has doctored the results of the last one. And so Sloan is looking all worried, and Eric is like, why are you looking like that? And she was like, because that's such an important document. I mean, Nicole is being really careless just to leave that just lying around like that. Like, who does that? And he was like, well, I'm sure everything is going to be fine with that and everything. And so she's like, yeah. And then she tells him, but you know what? I actually just got a text message, and I don't want my client spending the night in jail, so I actually have to leave. And he was like, right now, tonight? And she was like, yeah, because if we don't get this done, the client would, have to spend the night, and we don't want. So then Sloan goes outside, and she's like, oh my gosh, think, how can I fix this? Right? So then we see Marlena comes over, and she's talking to Eric, and they're just talking about everything that's going on in his life. First of all, they update on Belle and how Belle says everything is okay, but they know deep down it's not, because Sean has left her. I mean, he didn't leave her, but he did leave her to get help. And so that means Belle is pretty much on her own right now, and they're just concerned about her. So then they get on the subject of Sloan, and Marlena was like, where is Sloan? She was saying that, like, is Sloan gone or something? I said, he is in Sloan's place, ma'am. She is not gone. I know you want that. I get it, but no, she is not gone. He's at her place. But he tells her no, Sloan just had to do something for a client. And she was like, at this time of night, he was like, a criminal lawyer, and job is never done. So anyways, they talk, and she just tells Eric that she's happy for him if he gets to have a child, because he deserves it, and she can't wait to have a grandchild by him. And they talk some more about Sloan, and he said maybe Sloan wouldn't be so uncomfortable around you, but she knows you don't like her. And she was like, well, that's not true, I really don't know her. So they're like, maybe we can maybe she can find a way to try to get to know Sloan better, because she's in his life. And she said, it looks like Sloan is good for you. So then we go over here to EJ. So EJ is trying to work right, and Sloan has come over, but she needs to get EJ out of the house so that she can change the results, change the results in the envelope and everything. And so someone rings the doorbell, and if it was Sloan, I said, dang, she made it around there fast. So I was like, but anyways, so someone rings the doorbell, and EJ was like, hello, who is it? Who is it? But it's nobody at the door. And so while he's doing that, Sloan is in there trying to change the envelopes on the for the paperwork and everything. And so she hears EJ coming, and so she panics and she changes them really quickly. Now remember, EJ had started writing on one of them, and when we look, child, this girl done changed the wrong. She didn't change them at all. I said, yeah, okay, Days. All right, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna ride with it. She didn't change them at all, y'all. She left the same one that was already there. You can't make this up. And so she then leaves and she goes back home, and Eric and Marlena are still there, and Marlena tells her she wants to invite her over for dinner, and she thanks her for that. And she when Marlena leaves, she talks to Eric, and just telling him she's looking forward to the dinner and everything. And then he ends up having to leave, and Sloan shreds the paperwork without even looking at it. So she shredded the wrong paperwork. Oh, this is about to be a mess, and I am here for it. Please let something exciting happen on this soap, because I'm gonna be honest with you. These soaps, Days has been kind of mid lately. It's not giving what Days of Our Lives normally gives. So I don't know, child. But anyway, so that's that on that. That was too funny. I said, girl, you shredded the wrong paperwork. So then EJ Nicole comes back. She asks EJ, excuse me, y'all, did you have your meeting and everything? He said, oh, actually, I got interrupted, so I got to redo it. But he puts the paperwork in the safe so that no one can get to it. And I said, all right, that's it with them, y'all. So then we go over here to Brady and Maggie, and he's talking to her about, you know, Alex, and how Alex, quit Basic Black with no notice, and now how he can't believe he pushed Maggie to the side. And she said, well, Alex, Alex did tell me that I could stay on, but of course I wasn't going to do that, and everything. I said, well, Maggie, you and Alex didn't have this great relationship. That was on you, sis. You were the one who came into Titan being a jerk to him. So like, I don't really feel that bad. I don't feel that bad. But anyways, Brady is just like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe he's acting like that. And Maggie was like, yeah, considering had such a great relationship with his father, like I don't have that one with him at all. He was just like, I don't know. Um, but anywho, so then we move on to Constantine and Teresa, because I'm not gonna hold you long on that Maggie thing. It wasn't much. Constantine and Teresa, and they are finally telling us what went down to make Alex the heir. So Teresa was reading the will and everything, and she's like, oh my gosh, you changed your will. And so then she gets a knock on the door and says it's housekeeping. Now remember, Teresa had ordered all that stuff, right? So it made sense that she would think it was housekeeping. But when she opens the door, it's not. It's Constantine. And he comes in because he wants to know if he was left anything in Victor's will. And he's upset to find out he wasn't, because he said he was the one who told Victor to change the will in the first place. And his father was the one who gave Victor the seed money, and he wouldn't even have the fortune that he had if it wasn't for them. So he can't even believe that Victor left him nothing in his will. And so then they said he left it to his heir, and it was in a letter. And they said, where's the letter? And so Constantine looks in the briefcase, and they find a letter, and the letter does say that Xander Cook is Victor's heir. And so Teresa's just like, of all the people, Xander gets the fortune. That's tough, like, because y'all know she can't stand Xander. And so she's like, of all the people who could get this money, why does it have to be him, right? And so because of that, Constantine she says, I could fix all of this. I could make it where Xander isn't the one that gets the money. So we find out that Xander had actually done business with Constantine's father, but it was when his father when he was in his later stage of life, and his he wasn't as sharp as he once was, and Xander really just took him for money. And so Constantine is like, well, what do you mean you can change all this? And so Teresa talks about how she can make it where Xander, because the letter explaining that Victor is the father was really open. So it doesn't really say that, Xander Cook. She said they both, Alex and Xander, both have the same name. I could just switch this around to Alex. And so Constantine was like, well, why would you do that? She said, well, I'm already kind of talking to Alex, and she doesn't want Xander to have the money. So she was like, I could do this, and then I could keep talking to Alex, and I could really get this money from him or whatever. And Constantine said we could do this because he said I have all of the equipment needed to be able to do this. And so she was like, okay, he just wants, a cut of money as well. And she was like, okay, then, we'll do that. So he was not supposed to show up to Salem, but he shows up because he's trying to make sure that he gets his cut of money, child. So that's really why he's there. And so she was like, I'm still working on Alex. He's asked me to move in, but he hasn't asked me to marry him yet. So, no, you're not getting your cut of money yet because I'm still working on him. And he was like, well, I'm sure you'll figure it out and everything. So y'all, that's what happened. Teresa and Constantine changed that letter. So that, which we already knew, it was fishy. Um, so then we go over to Alex. So he's chilling at the house and he gets a knock on the door and he thinks it's Teresa, but it's actually Xander. Xander has come over here to tell him that he wants him to give Maggie his job back, and Alex says, yeah, I don't really care what you want. I'm Victor's son and I get to make these choices. And he said, Xander of course is throwing shots at Alex. I don't know. Xander, I guess they did this because they revealed today that Xander was the one, is the rightful heir. So he's throwing shots at Alex and he's saying, he wishes he was the one who had Victor's money because he would have kept Maggie, was Victor's heir because he would have kept Maggie in his position. And Alex is just like, you think I'd rather be have Victor's money than have Justin as my dad. And so when Xander C was like, oh my gosh, I expected you to gloat and do all this kind of stuff, but you over here throwing a pity party. And Alex is pretty much like, why are you here? And he said he was just there because of Maggie. And he was like, well, nothing's going to change. I'm the heir and I make these decisions, so you can leave. And so Xander is about to leave. And when he does, he sees Teresa's at the door. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is what are you doing here? And Teresa said, minding my business. And he says, Alex tells him she's moving in. He was like, Victor's son becomes the heir, and here you are, and everything. And he was, he's throwing shots at Teresa, and Alex tells him leave, and he was like, I'm gonna gladly leave. And so he tells Teresa, don't even pay attention to him. He's just jealous. He wish it was him that got this fortune and everything instead of me. And Teresa, of course, because Teresa was feeling a little bit bad, not about Xander, but about lying to Alex. But her interaction with Xander made her be like, I'm glad that I did and everything. And so then Constantine, he goes back to the mansion with Maggie, right? And he tells her buys her what did he buy her? He bought her some flowers. I can't think of which kind it was, but he bought her some, and she was like, I find it hard to believe you picked these in October. He said, oh, I knew you were too smart for that. Yes, I did buy them for you, because I think Victor told me they were your favorite. So Maggie already kind of falling for this man or whatever, because she lonely and she misses Victor, and this is like being a part of Victor's childhood. That's what she was telling Brady, like to see Victor as this young man. And so Constantine tells her, he's gonna have to go, and she was like, "What? No, plans can be changed. So why don't you just go ahead and stay a little longer?" I said, "Megan, you need to send this man home." but he gonna go ahead and he gonna stay longer with her and everything. So Teresa's working on Alex and he's working on Maggie Child. And that's it, y'all. That was Days of Our Lives today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow for an all new episode of What Happened on the Soaps Days of Our Lives edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.